I just wanted to come up to the center because something happened yesterday, and I'd put a nest in here. Because when I was walking across the parking lot yesterday, just coming in, this came blowing right in front of me. I would have stepped on it if I didn't stop. This adorable little nest. But first, I was like really cool. Then I felt for the birds that the wind had blown it out of the trees, Just asked Mom, God, Mother Nature to help them rebuild. But it made me think, as I was home last night, about the idea of the nests we have, And something on Facebook, a woman, I guess it was anonymous, but the woman who shared it, had a post that said, we're not all in the same boat, even though we're all in the same storm of this coronavirus. And that's really insightful. The storm is going around the whole world, and it's going to affect everybody by the time it's done. But for some, it's a complete shipwreck, and they've had to say goodbye to loved ones. Really hard. Our own Ken Rip, his mom passed from the virus, and the situation was really tough. In a care facility, they weren't allowed to visit, so they were saying the Lord's Prayer outside loudly, but thankfully she was able to hear them, and they had some real connection before she passed. And he wrote a beautiful piece on it, and they're at peace, but do keep them in your prayers. It was hard. And my friend Eric, he's home now. He was on the ventilator for 5 days. Thank you for all the prayers for him and for Mary and their 2 young girls. And then I've talked to some people on the front lines, and it's really hard for some of them. And some people are looking at layoffs probably this week. So there's a lot of people to pray for and support. For us, it's been really just mostly staying at home, and having to shut down all our businesses, so income's not coming in. But it's mostly just that kind of thing. It's being at home, but realizing this storm is affecting every nest, you might say. And I think what I really want to encourage today as we're getting ready for meditation is to think about your own inner nest. Sometimes I've thought about this center as a nest for the mom side of God to help people come home, it's really the dance of both the masculine and the feminine creative forces that give life and help us to create a home even within ourselves. And it is like a dance. That's part of why I like the breath prayers. It's like, and I think it's why they're in almost every tradition of, around the world, the great traditions, you find it pop up somewhere. And it's because of this dance that happens even in our bodies, and these creative forces that, in the inhalation and the exhalation, the receiving and expressing, right? The giving and the taking, but receiving. It's not a taking. When you look at and feel for it, it's unforced. It's this powerful yet graceful movement that gives life. And when you really settle in with it, it feels like love. It feels good. I think it's because it comes from, I think our heart's desire to love and be loved and live a life we love is connected to the unforced rhythms of grace that give life and spring from God, who is love, So finding some way, I call it the rest that works, but your way to be cultivating your nest, especially in the midst of this storm right now, that's a very worthwhile thing to do, I think one of the things for some of us that have more time on our hands is how to spend that time, And don't get me wrong, it's not get all serious all the time. It's more you actually realize some of this, it's very playful. When you really settle in with the love that gives life, it's also very playful. Sometimes in meditation, the image of our dog will come up, and I know why that is, because of my love for her, especially as we had to say goodbye to her, a month or so ago. And so it's tuning into that love. It's tuning into love. That's what it's all about. And that's how we reweave that nest, strengthen it, or if it gets totally blown down, or part of, I think, this time is realizing what matters to us, and maybe you want to change some patterns. Okay, it's a good time to do some of that work, right? I've been paying attention to some of my dreams, and I've always done that, but now I'm giving a little bit more time, and sure enough, there's some things I'm learning, That's one way. Giving our soul and our psyche, our subconscious, and ultimately God and our angels opportunity to reach us with what helps us to tune better into love and compassion, even for ourselves. Absolutely. Sometimes that's really where it starts. To move with those graceful rhythms that include respect and compassion and empathy, but then also personal responsibility. There's so much we can't control. The only thing we really have influence over is ourselves, our own thoughts, the current we choose to move with in this river of life, you might say. So how to get in that flow of love? That's really, what it's all about. And that's what I hope the center is for you, a place that encourages you in building your nest. And I even the center studio here, it's reminded me of a nest sometimes, and I hope it supports you in that way, where you can truly be yourself, especially in your inner life, and then to work from there with that holy healing spirit that makes us at home from the inside out. Then we have that to offer other people too. It's the best way to live, I've found. So as we get ready for meditation now, I just invite you to set yourself up where you can do whatever process works best for you. I guess right now we are going to have this music in the background. I even picked this piano music because it's kind of feels like weaving, and imagining kind of the threads being woven into a nest is kind of what I was playing with when I heard it. But whatever that looks like for you, your process to tune into love, and then kind of making a home in your own heart with your own self wherever you are right now. So I'll do a little bit of guidance kind of along the lines of the rest that works, and then I'll be quiet. And I'll close very quietly. So if you want to set the timer for whatever amount of time you want, go ahead, and I'll close quietly then. So I'll let you know when I'm going to be quiet, so you know when to really step into your process too. All right, thanks. All right, so get comfortable. Take some deep breaths. I'll do the same. We'll have some meditation time. I always start with prayer. Just asking God, the great weaver, the great I am, we are, masculine and feminine side, this great love in this dance that gives life, to guide me in settling in with God, with it, this great heart, at the heart of who we are, and that holy healing spirit that gives life. And then I often will just think about, breath and spirit are the same word in Greek. So to ride that wave of my breath, just settle in with it. A couple deep breaths and just settle in. Just releasing anything that might come up otherwise. Just giving it all rest. Anything else. So we can come to rest. These graceful rhythms. I often have to work that muscle quite a bit of giving other things a rest. That's okay. No beating up. if something else comes up, just kind of not breath and come back to the breath. That openness to the spirit behind it. Feel for the energy in motion. It feels good. It feels like love. You tune into your own desire to love and be loved and live a life you love. And that's your connection with God. Actually, the root of the branching out of God you are. You can make a home there. So trust it. Trust that energy in motion. Trust that love as worth working from no matter what. It just feels so much better, even being us. So whatever imagery comes up for you or just test it for love, and if it helps you tune into love, go with it. Anything that doesn't, just let it go. Feel for that spirit and work with it in your way. And I'll be quiet now.